welcome back to White Mountains today. We have good friend Michael Kline back on the set. It's been a while since I've seen you, but I've been following your adventures. You just never stop. You, in a good way, because you are always changing, you're always improving and trying to help other people improve as well. And our own Bella actually has had experience with some of your learning to listen talks and stuff like that. So tell me what you've been up to. Let's hold off on the retreats for a minute. Tell me what you've been up to.
I've been up to, we've had 6 businesses here in the Valley, and we've shed them all except for our seminar company.
That's wonderful.
And we just gave away Soy Fire Candle to our manager, Joanne.
She was so excited.
3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I drop in and visit. It's just different dropping in and visiting and seeing her flourishing, so that's been great.
That's wonderful. You have invested here in the Valley in that way, that you've had a lot of the businesses start up, and then when you're ready to hand them off, people are stepping up, and it's sort of enriching the whole Valley.
Well, it's about figuring out what you really want. What's your passion? And when I hit 50 a year and a half ago, I thought it's time to turn up the volume a little bit, turn up the speed maybe a little bit on these goals for a second half of life of my own. And so fast forwarding that, we decided it was time to shed retail and move on, give that opportunity to someone else, and really take the seminar business into much more of a retreat direction and do a much deeper dive into the learning of what it is that we want to share, and partnering with the top experts in the world to bring that even more out into the world.
Wonderful.
So that's what we've been doing the last couple of years, and created a vision board last year, and in the last month or so, really in the month of July, I crossed off nearly everything that was on my vision board a year ago, which was fantastic.
That's wonderful. Well, you're the epitome of bringing your passion to whatever you're doing.
Well,
and this is the new phase, and you've helped a lot of people already, because everyone that I've talked to that has gone to one of your meetings or discussions, they've raved about you.
Thank you.
And you've had a lot of mentors yourself, a lot of these people that you've met along the way, including Jack Canfield, that I just saw a picture with you two on your Facebook page. So it's wonderful that you are spreading what you found on the road, and you bring it right here to the Mount Washington Valley.
Yeah. I've had people, for years, they've read the book The Secret, or they've watched the movie, which I think is better than the book, by the way.
Really? I haven't seen it.
And so many people will think, well, I've done everything that it said in the book. I've watched the movie, and the secret stuff this law of attraction, it doesn't work for me. I'm still working and just slugging away, and nothing's happening for me. It's like, well, maybe it's time to stop reading the book and watching the movies and taking action. Because the law of attraction and what The Secret is about, really there's 3 simple steps. Ask, believe, and receive. And asking part is really difficult for most people. We don't really know what we want. What is our passion? What is our really, 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 what would our passion be if we were brave enough to do it, if we knew we couldn't fail, those kind of questions, and that would really make a difference and be worth doing. So once we know what to ask for, we get to that point, well, what does it mean to believe? Well, it's not writing letters to Santa Claus. This doesn't just show up because you declare you believe. You have to, how do you prove to the universe that you believe? Well, if you take action like you believe it. Taking action, you still have to go out and do something to
live it like
you live like it's going to happen. You actually take action, take bold action, and things just show up and start moving in your direction. As a result of that action, you have to go do something.
Right.
It doesn't just magically show up because you declare that you believe it. You express how you believe it by taking action. And then living in a way that's what we call a vibrational match to how you want to be. Where we bring in that's why we bring in the meditation, it's why we bring in yoga to the retreats, it's why we bring in a multitude of different experiences that people can find what works for you to put you at that, operating at that level, to live the way you want to be.
Okay.
That's a match for your goals. And that we're not talking about just making money here when I talk about goals, by the way, because coming from an entrepreneurial background, and even with Jack's work, even though he's famous for The Secret, he's famous for the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, his new book, The Success Principles, it's 10 years old. The new edition just came out this year. The brand new edition came out this year. And people think, well, that sounds like a business book. And it can be, but we're talking about success in relationships. Success in relationships, in your love relationships, in your relationships with parents or children, or the friends and the support you have, relationships, spiritual aspects of your life, financial, certainly career, health and wellness is a huge area that a lot of people show up to work on. So it's areas, we approach 7 different areas of our life in our system. It doesn't, whether you're looking at 5 or 9, it doesn't really matter. We all have a well-rounded package of what wellness means in life, what does success mean in every aspect, in every meaning of the word.
Very cool, and I think people a lot of time get stuck in a rut. Like they think this is what they're given and that they're just toiling away. And I think one of these retreats would be a great, or more than one retreat would be a great, to open your eyes and just sort of get that gem that it doesn't have to be like that. You can be happier, and there's no time like the present. You're only given one life. So make the most of it.
Working with right now. Anyway.
Right, exactly. Yeah. Who knows what goes on after, but do the best you can with what you're given right now. And so these retreats, I think, will open eyes, give, maybe click with somebody that you're like, this really relates to me and I can use this, and then they implement it. So let's talk about some of the things. You mentioned yoga, you mentioned meditation, sort of a motivational aspect to it.
Yeah, well, it begins with, if we just take the model of the law of attraction, really, of ask, well, we have to start with what we want before we can get it. How do we get from where to where we want to be if we don't know where that is?
Right.
And if we don't really have a true assessment of where we are. So we might start with doing an exploration of our passions and creating a life purpose. If I were to ask you right now, or anyone listening to share, what is your life purpose? Do you have a life purpose statement? Why are you here? It's the hardest question, one of the oldest questions known to humankind. And until we know what our passion is, until we know what our purpose is, how are we going to live it? And it's not that difficult to figure it out. I mean, it took me a few years to figure that out, even after asking the important question.
Have the
really
instant answer sometimes. You probably hear a lot of the same answers. You're like, I want to be rich, or I want to be famous, or I want to be happy.
Yeah.
But there are things beyond that. Like, what would make you happy? Right. Could you be satisfied with less money and being happier? Yeah. You know what I mean? So it's an intricate puzzle, I think. So years is not a bad span of time to figure that out.
Well, true. And my experience and my studying the greats around the world is that if there's financial abundance is attached to it, that is generally a result of the service that you are being to the world. So for me my job is to empower others to flourish. If my mission on this earth is to empower people to flourish, well, what do I mean by empower? And which people? And what do I mean by flourish? So it begs a bigger conversation, but that's as simple as I can get it. My purpose on this planet is to empower others to flourish, whether that's teaching or motivational, or, well, if they don't need motivation, but they might need skills, then it's teaching. If they have the skills but they need some inspiration, then it's to inspire. If it's, what is it that they need, and who are these people that I can best be of service to, and what do we mean by flourish? So everybody has to figure out, we need to each figure out what is our purpose, what are our real passions, because when we do the work that's in alignment with our passion, we will be successful.
And sometimes people just need a little guidance in getting there. So you have brought this all to the Valley in a partnership with Darby Field Inn, which is a beautiful location right down in Albany. And when I first saw that Darby Field Inn was going to be my guest, they mentioned Judy was going to be here. So I didn't know it was this aspect, but they really have opened their doors to you to provide a great venue for you to bring this work that you've been doing, over years with all these great mentors and your own experience, and they brought it for weekends or retreat over at the Darby Field Inn.
Well, that's where this started, at the Darby Field, and Dixie Lee, who owns Sunshine Yoga here in Conway, and the Darby Field approached me, and I've worked with the Darby Field really for years, and one way or another, on and off, and I've always been a big fan. So I was thrilled to get that call and to get down there and meet with them and create a series. So we're going to start this summer of 2016. It's already fall. Yesterday, I took a picture yesterday. I couldn't believe it. My first red maple leaf on the trail over on North Moat yesterday.
It's gorgeous. So thank goodness fall is gorgeous around here, because it is a time of transition for a lot of people. But we're looking at next summer. So we're looking at next summer already, and so now's the time. It's where you're visiting here now. It's time to think about what are we going to do next summer. So next summer and fall. And these are already at our website at intus.life, but and they'll soon be on Darby if they're not already. Wonderful. Okay, so you'll see that on your screen too, the website that you can check out, and so they can sign up now for this. Sign up isn't out there yet, so but keep tuned for that. Yeah, so you want to stay tuned to that. So the idea is that we will have 3 workshops next summer, 3 retreats, one geared towards women's groups, and one geared towards second half of life, my personal favorite. I most connect to that. Right, and, I'm right there with you. Like it's a big time of transition for a lot of people. Yeah, it is. Midlife and beyond. Yeah, and the third one geared towards couples. So 3 different retreats, couples, women, and second half of life. All will have a great deal in common, but will be tailored to who shows up.
and to who registered and to make that work. And we design our workshops because they're intimate, and it's such a great intimate space to have it in, and the experts that we have facilitating the workshops are very good at adjusting to what's in the room.
Okay.
And we welcome whatever shows up, and we keep our agenda flexible enough that you don't show up and say, well, this is how they do it here, and this is what I have to experience. It's what's most appropriate and most helpful
Kind of a flow.
for who's there.
Okay, so do they have to stay at the Darby Field Inn, which is a gorgeous place to stay? So
Well,
if
if you're
you
lucky.
can, you should.
If you're lucky, you are.
But do they have to
Yeah.
stay to participate in these retreats?
No, we actually we'll price the retreat separate from lodging.
Okay.
And there are a few different lodging options at the Darby Field. But if you own a home here and want to stay at your own home and commute and join us every morning from breakfast and stay through dinner or an evening, there would be evening events every night, and go back to your own home,
Okay.
that we have a commuter rate as well. So you can buy just the retreat, and all of the meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner will be included as part of the package, which is a treat in itself, and it's
Right.
a Kropalo-inspired menu that Dixie brought to the Darby Field. So
Wonderful. Okay.
yeah, it'll be nourishment for the mind, body, and soul. So the food will be excellent and healthy and delicious.
In the same, in the same
And
vein.
all-inclusive.
Now, when you say commuter, you don't mean drop in though. This is something that you should. It's a weekend that you should spend mainly at the Darby Field.
Yeah. Sometimes people hear the word yoga and you think it's like a yoga studio. You can't come. Here's the challenge with that. When we get together in the first evening, and we pull together in a circle and we start to bond and share, and we create a space that's safe enough. If I share secrets with you or things that I just was surprised that I would share in a group at all, and I do that when I get into these kind of groups, then how would I feel if tomorrow a stranger shows up that I've never seen before? They're here for the day. And it changes the group dynamics completely. So we want to build a bond, and you leave with a relationship with probably lifelong friend or two or three from that group. And that dynamic is doesn't work as well if we have people coming and going and you're not sure, you're just here tonight and I just bonded with you and now you're leaving tomorrow.
And you're gone?
Yeah, don't go. Come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is a weekend commitment. It's 2-3 days?
So typically, 3.5, 4 days. So there'll be 3 nights, but we'll start one afternoon and we'll finish at noon on the final day. So it's really, we call it a 4-day.
All right,
retreat.
wonderful.
Yeah.
And how many people can join for each retreat? Is there a set limit yet?
No. Well, our ideal would be maybe 25, 30 people would be the maximum to keep it intimate, but big enough to be comfortable for members there. You're not alone.
So just me and you in a room.
Yeah.
All right, so 25, 30 people.
Yeah,
okay.
but very intimate by comparing to, I just did a retreat with, I was on Jack Canfield's assisting team at Breakthrough to Success. Phenomenal retreat. Everybody should do that once in their life or twice. And there were 300 people in the room, and he has a magical way, and there were 18 on the assisting team. Our job was to make that an intimate experience for everybody in the room. That's a real challenge, and it's still a very different experience than having 30 people where you connect with everyone, or have the opportunity, if you choose, to connect with everyone, which is very special.
Yeah, and now folks do.
Yeah.
Coming up in the summer of 2016, you can join Michael Kline and his great team over at the Darby Field Inn. It's in Albany. It's a beautiful setting, and you can find out more, website and phone number, or do you just want to stick with the website?
The website would be great, intus.life. Intus is Latin for within.
Okay.
Because every one of us has the resources, the insights, and the wisdom within us, if we can figure out how to tap into that.
Okay.
So that's the idea.
That'll be a good resource, intus.life, and then eventually Darby Field Inn will also have the schedule on their website.
It may already be, but
first.
they should visit there, because if you don't have plans for dinner tonight, it's a great spot to check out. Amazing food, lush gardens,
all
amazing
around,
setting,
wonderful
mountain
staff.
views. Yeah.
Absolutely. Michael, did we get everything out there?
I think we did.
There's a lot. So, folks, intus.life is a place online to find out more. And Michael, is that where they find out about your complete schedule? Because you do not only the retreats, but a whole lot more.
That's true. Yeah, most everything, a lot of things that we do are on there.
Okay, great. So you can find out more, because I've heard great things, and you bring in the joy that you found, within yourself and on the road as well, talking to a lot of fantastic people you brought right here to the Valley. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
It's an honor and a pleasure.